Oh, maybe that's the Easter egg. That Ditto gets Pound and Struggle in Pokemon Go, but the first move that Mew learns is Pound, and also has that transform, and there's a whole theory behind it that Ditto is a failed clone of Mew. Maybe this has something to do with it. Maybe we shouldn't be looking for necessarily Ditto trivia, but things that relate with Ditto and Mew to unlocking the secret to Ditto. Unless it's just not in the game yet, and then things get all crazy from there. So there are some Easter eggs to be discovered in Pokemon Go, and this was brought to light at San Diego Comic-Con. So this is like the first big convention that we've had since the release of Pokemon Go, and John Hank was there to talk about the game. So in response to the Eevee naming trick, which has been confirmed as an Easter egg, he says there might be some other Easter eggs buried in there yet to be discovered. And now people have lost their minds because there's many threads on Reddit going on about every possible detail from the first generation of the games to try to figure out if there's any other Easter eggs that we can find and if they have any significance. Now it seems like the Eevee one would have some of the most impact because that's like a direct change right there. Also, there are some more to be tested and just a lot of theories that people are checking out. But also the Pikachu one is pretty cool. That, you know, running away from starters will eventually spawn a Pikachu when you first start out. That's an Easter egg right there. When the egg reaches its required distance but doesn't hatch yet, a text pops up that says this egg likes butter. Feed it a lot of butter to hatch it. So it seems like some kind of beta development joke. Also, Pikachu is the only Pokemon in the game that doesn't have the growl. Instead, it actually says Pikachu, like in the anime. And also, this is similar to the 6th generation, where Pikachu says Pika Pika instead of having some kind of generic thing. So people are trying to figure out every little bit. Green Lake in Seattle seems to be a him-only nest, a homage to Bruce Lee. Actually, that would be really interesting. So we have all kinds of really fun things going on here. And then there's other theories and ideas to test. We have the Ditto theories, which there's a whole post about, and that's what this video is about, guys. That we are trying to figure out everything about Ditto, since it is the only non-legendary Pokemon that people haven't found yet, and suspected to be an Easter egg, because when you have something as literally ambiguous as Ditto, there has to be some kind of trick to it, especially if no one's found it yet, or even no one's stumbling into it, so it's a bit more complex than people might have guessed. So here are some possible theories that were started off, and then there's a lot of updates going on this thread, as well as a lot of debunked stuff, because, oh hey, guess what, if we name Eevee after one of the Eevee bros, the trainer of that evolution, that's going to give it to us. Well, naming random Pokemon Duplica in reference to Duplica, the owner of the Ditto in the anime of the first series, doesn't work out, and there's like a lot of other transform tricks and attacks that aren't really panning out. But there are some other things, and I want to pitch in my 2 cents, because we can see that if we pull up like trivia on Ditto, or we also have the move transform and all kinds of fun stuff like that, there's random stuff that could just happen, and maybe there's something hiding in here that'll help reveal the Ditto, or at least showing this video to multiple people. That while it has gotten a lot of traction on Reddit, maybe there's someone in the comment section that will just have it click, or at least come up with an idea to be tested, and things might get a little fancy as everyone is rushing to try to get a Ditto. So what we have right here is theories, ideas, Ditto. Oh wait, let's go back to this one. So we have here is Major Find. New Pokedex description of Ditto from the code. So this is in the code of the game that people have broken down. Ditto rearranges its cell structure to transform itself into other shapes. However, if Ditto tries to transform itself into something by relying on its memory, this Pokemon manages to get the details wrong. So it could just be a super rare thing that if you see an off-looking Pokemon, it might be a Ditto, but there might also be some other things to make this Pokemon spawn, and also it's just other shapes. Other Pokedex references of Ditto are more about transforming into Pokemon. However, when Ditto sleeps, it transforms into a rock. So maybe there's slight details on your map at certain times where that could represent just a hiding Ditto. Remember, it is a Ditto. It can transform into almost anything. It transforms into a cannon for the anime, for crying out loud. So good luck trying to figure out what it's transformed to. Maybe it's just hidden on the map. You just have to tap in random places or something. Who knows? Other than that, Ditto weighs 4 kilograms, has a height of 0.3 meters. Also, it can change its face. It's called Metamon. This might help. Some people have like tried other naming things. Like, what if you name it Ditto? What if you name it Metamon? What happens right there? We have some other major finds as well. Ditto, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, and Pikachu are the only Pokemon to have a base capture rate of 0.16 and a flee rate of 0.1. Interestingly enough, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, and Pikachu are the starter Pokemon, so maybe this has something to do with it, especially when you look at a lot of Pokemon merchandise that has like the Ditto face. but it's actually a Ditto, but it's based off of the starter Pokemon. Easter egg where you hold down the Pokeball icon, swipe left, top right, has the same orientation and colors as the Pester Ball, and the Pester Ball is how you end up finding Ditto in the first place because it's disguised as a Bulbasaur in Pokemon Snap. See how deep people are going? It's getting crazy right now. Ditto may be a South American exclusive Pokemon. Ditto's owner named Duplica, which is Spanish for duplicate. Can someone confirm this? We're still trying to look for that right now because, yeah, we don't know the South America exclusive Pokemon, and Ditto's the only Pokemon that hasn't been caught yet. Could be a chance, but also gating off a Pokemon as crazy as Ditto to one country, I think that that's a little unfair because you can't hatch Ditto in an egg, but you can hatch other Pokemon from the other countries in eggs or other continents. And then attempt gym battles with a Pokemon named Ditto. So these are theories to be tested. And then there's a lot of tested ones that haven't worked. You know, evolving Pokemon that have a similar height and weight as Ditto don't work. We already know this. And then naming Pokemon excluding legendaries as Ditto doesn't work. So even naming Pokemon that seem like it would be in reference to something like in the anime episode, the whole thing about Team Rocket trying to steal Ditto is to get a Dratini out of it. But naming a Dratini Ditto or Duplica doesn't end up working out. Now also, Ditto, when tickled or when it gets too relaxed, it ends up losing focus and it can transform back. So here's something, snapping a picture of Bulbasaur, like in Pokemon Snap, ended up not working out. However, we did not rapidly tap tickle Bulbasaur in camera mode. Someone please try to tap spam tickle in camera mode to see if it works out. So this is under tested theories that didn't work, but that isn't a tested part of it. So maybe that could have something to do with it, that if you just make the Pokemon wait for too long, that you've actually caught a Ditto the whole time, but it's just disguised as the Pokemon that you ended up capturing, and that's going to cause a lot of people to spend a lot of time to make sure, but maybe there is a slight detail that's off, you know, body patterns on the Bulbasaur might not be related to the real Bulbasaur, and that's where we can try these other theories on. Same with maybe Pikachu, Charmander, or Squirtle, that there could be something slightly off of these starter Pokemon that are actually hiding as Dittos. Just so many things and weird things to test. Also, you know, Mewtwo Ditto theory. Ditto is a failed Mew, will spawn during a Mew event. Maybe that's what we're waiting for, a Mew or Mewtwo event, and then there'll be more Dittos or a frequency that allows Dittos to be found. But then some other interesting things that have happened are people have hacked the game. So Pokemon Go client modification Ditto encounter. So someone hacked the game to make a Ditto spawn, and it shows right here that that's a Ditto, but it's coming up as a Weedle because they changed the Weedle to the ID of a Ditto. It's not like the Pokemon's disguised right there, but they forced the Ditto to spawn. However, when Wild Ditto appears and they try to capture it, the game crashes. So this might show that maybe there's a set of spawning requirements that have to be met, or else Ditto's just going to crash your game, or maybe Ditto's not even ready to be found yet. This is another interesting thing to think about, is like, what if Ditto's in a future update, and then that's when you can try all these tips and tricks and sneaky Easter eggs to get it, but right now it's just currently not available at all, which is why it crashes the game, or the crash could be because you didn't meet the requirements beforehand, and that's what I'm thinking about. Maybe the requirements are catching the same Pokemon over and over and over again. You know, Ditto. You catch two of the same Pokemon, then you do something, and maybe it causes a Ditto to appear. Maybe you catch multiples of the same Pokemon and only the same Pokemon, and then you have to do that over. Also, remember, the camera could have something to do with this. There could be the whole, maybe just making Ditto wait. Making Ditto wait, getting it tired, making a Pokemon kind of transform in that way could mean something. There's a lot of things to go off of right here. Then we also have the trivia. So, trivia doesn't really show so much, you know. In Pokemon Snap, Ditto takes the form of Bulbasaur in a cave stage. Player can cause them to return by hitting it with an object. When the player takes a picture, Ditto has the same eyes when it's transformed as when it's not. So it has the derp face. It's pretty much going on. Trait is shared by Duplica's Ditto in the anime. So yeah, a lot of people are going really deep into this because, I mean, that's Derpasaur right there. That's the Bulbasaur we're trying to look into. And then personality characteristics, you know, Ditto is a master of transforming into many other species, including items shown that Ditto was in Team Rocket's custody during its first appearance. At first, when Ditto transformed, it retained the Ditto face, but then it became better and it was able to transform properly. But, I mean, that whole Ditto face meme has stuck around through a lot of different parts of Pokemon. So, trivia, no, Ditto's habit of not transforming was originally presented as an anomaly. However, due to the popularity in anime, it's become an associated feature of Ditto, like the Game Corner, the Clefairy Ditto at the Game Corner. That's actually something pretty interesting if this picture will ever load. And there we go, there's the Clefairy Ditto. So Yeah, I feel like that it should just be a rare spawn where it has that face instead, and then you do something to make it a Ditto. So that's why I'm thinking it might not even be in the game at this point. Then there's Transform, but after like looking into the move Transform, it doesn't seem like there would be anything that would support Transform, because it does work differently. That Ditto has Pound and Struggle as its only two moves. Oh, maybe that's the Easter egg. That Ditto gets Pound and Struggle in Pokemon Go, but the first move that Mew learns is Pound, and also has that Transform, and there's a whole theory behind it that Ditto is a failed clone of Mew. Maybe this has something to do with it. Maybe we shouldn't be looking for necessarily Ditto trivia, but things that relate with Ditto and Mew to unlocking the secret to Ditto. Unless it's just not in the game yet, and then things get all crazy from there. But it doesn't seem like since it has Transform, it's not going to really play too much. I just wanted to look into it, but I didn't find anything, just a lot of first generation glitches, a lot of just weird stuff. But none of these glitches really seem like they would apply. Any Transform trivia, maybe. So we got Ditto and stuff lying around. I mean, it can become stuff, like a rock. That's another thing about Ditto. The German version Generation 2 games, it was renamed from Wandler into Vorlander. Has anyone tried naming a Pokemon Transform then? Like, you're like, I'm going to name you Transform because you're Ditto. Transform, Ditto. Transform. And then the only other interesting things about Ditto is that in the 6th issue of Best Buy's Gamer magazine, Game Freak developer Junichi Masuda and Ken Sugimori revealed that Ditto was originally based on the iconic smiley face. Its eyes and mouth are just like the emote, which represents the smiley. Additionally, Ditto strongly represents an amoeba, a single-celled organism with no definite shape, which is why it could be like a blob with a smiley face that becomes anything. Name origin. Ditto is literally Ditto. Substitute for repeating what was previously written or said. I mean, if you just go off the definition of Ditto, that's what I mean, a substitute for repetition. So maybe repetition is what could help unlock the trick to getting Ditto. Ditto's Japanese name is Metamon. It's a combination of metamorph and monster. But other than that, I don't think we really have too much else. So, yeah, this video isn't like me exposing, be like, yeah guys, I found it, I cracked the secret, we got this one. No, it's mostly just kind of showing that there is Ditto stuff out there. There are Easter eggs to be discovered in Pokemon, so maybe that's where this is. You guys watching the video, maybe something jogged your memory. Maybe there is something in what I said about the repetition part of it. Again, maybe trying to rapidly tickle certain Bulbasaurs in camera mode. I feel like that'd be a little weird, but could happen. I'm still standing by something with the camera. Reading the update that starters can't have picture taken further encourages this. I think there's some random % chance that finding a Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charmander in the wild, taking its picture will cause it to transform. I'm currently taking one picture of every Pokemon before I catch it. Note, if you switch to AR mode, the camera, and then look downwards from the Pokemon, you'll notice a black dot. It doesn't appear to be a shadow of the Pokemon, and it doesn't change with the Pokemon's animation. I tried taking pictures of the dot as well. So far, nothing, but I can't figure out why it's there. Maybe we already captured Ditto, but we must fight a gym, and so it dies and then transforms to its original form. Yeah, I tried to read through some of these other comments in the newest. I don't think it's really getting us anywhere. Like, all the comments in the updates are being posted as, like, edits to the original thread. And again, it's talking about, like, Mew. Maybe there's something going on with Mew or a mansion, or Mewtwo with Cerulean Caves. So that means when there's the Ditto event, or when the Mewtwo event is going on, maybe that'll be the opportunity to catch Ditto everywhere or something like that. Just a lot of conversation, a lot of discussion, and a lot of going nowhere at this point. But keep an eye out, man. Keep an eye out, guys. Like, there could be some really cool stuff in the game for Easter eggs, and it feels like the Eevee one was cracked a little sooner than expected, I would imagine. So there could be some really complicated or intricate stuff that's going on with this game, and that's what we're here to find out. So if you guys enjoyed the video,
potion or whatever. No. We have this. We need one more hit. No. Voltorb. Voltorb, buddy. Yo, we just got absolutely wrecked.